before you go on, though, real quick, can I say this?
Yeah.
The information I got, that open relationship, it's not like anybody did a crime. That's not really breaking news. I can't hold that over your head. The other information you gave me is the bad one, which I don't want to get into.
Okay.
That I don't want to bring up. That's not fair to you guys or anybody.
We can get into that.
Wait, what is that other thing?
Yeah, we can get into that.
The other.
Wait, hold on. Let me actually.
Yeah.
Probably let's assume that it's the same old narrative of me being a gold digger and stealing money from Bobby.
I mean,
is it within those lines?
We talked about it. Yeah, you and I had spoke about this, and you told me.
Oh yes, I mean let's be real. That is an old, tired story. Bobby, call your accountants.
Okay, here's the truth of the matter. Okay,
I don't really need to.
I
don't need to know this.
I know. Okay.
The only reason I'm here was to bring up the red thing and show you guys the information I have.
Just carry on and move.
This is an archived poem published September 19th, 2014 on Khalyla's now deleted website. The site was openly advertised on her Twitter and remained up long after she started her original podcast, which has also now been deleted. So I'm not going to be revealing any private information or even anything posted prior to her becoming a public figure. Not that this would matter to Khalyla anyway, as we'll get into later in the video. She sees nothing wrong with opening other people's mail. She even admits to obsessively reading all of the letters sent from Bobby's previous girl, not to mention in the most perverse way possible. In spite of her willingness to read the private works of others, and even write about them publicly, she would go on to lock her site in 2016. When I went to the Wayback Machine archives for Khalyla.com, I wasn't able to access the content from any of the articles. I tried multiple troubleshooting options and almost gave up until I just so happened to come across some workaround, which probably explains why nobody has posted about these anywhere, even with their legions of dedicated detractors and the archives being readily available. Once I gained access, I quickly realized why she wouldn't want anyone reading these anymore, and I'm honestly shocked that she put them out there to begin with. These poems not only contain straightforward confessions to all of the worst allegations being levied against her at the moment, but more interestingly, within these passages lie a rabbit hole of absolute insanity that's so dark, I'm not even comfortable sharing all this information, and I honestly wasn't even prepared to walk in on this. In spite of what the title might suggest, my goal here isn't to drum up unnecessary hate and have people go attack Khalyla. I wasn't even planning on making this video to begin with. I was in the middle of researching a much longer video on the entire LA comedy scene, and just so happened to stumble upon this madness. Before this, I had never even seen an episode of Tigerbelly, so I'm not really partial towards either side. I'm just covering this drama as I see it. That being said, I do have limits. I'm not going to be covering everything. Some of these entries are just disturbing and sad. I'm only going over things directly pertaining to the current drama surrounding Tigerbelly, and a few other hypersexual poems that are honestly completely harmless considering what she says on a daily basis.
Because I was fucking my brother at a hospital.
Is that the first time you fucked your brother?
No, but it was maybe like the third time. But I mean, he was a very sweet, meek boy. He's passed. He killed himself at not too long after.
I used to jerk off dogs a lot, but this isn't a known thing.
If other people want to go find him and attack her for things that aren't in the open already, that's on them. I'm not going to be bringing in any new lines of attack. I'm only going to be using public posts to add further context to a developing story. With all of that out of the way, let's get back to the original poem. I ran you ragged to the gravel, fed you time for gold, held you closely so falsely, watched your ache unfold. You steered the reins as you were aptly told, not knowing you were headed for a stab, capture, and hold. I'm sorry, so sorry, for your heart I cajoled, and for thieving back all the things I sold. I'm an artist, a con, self-punished but paroled, a savvy saboteur, spoiling good to mold. For this I ask pardon, your good faith I have trolled. I know nothing of love, but a dead winter's cold. Wow, what poetry. The standout lines here are obviously, fed you time for gold, held you closely so falsely, and I'm an artist, a con, all of which amount to what I can only interpret as a blatant admission of gold digging. If you're unfamiliar, After this moment,
You throw money at my tears,
That's not
which
what-
is
that's not-
okay.
you know what? Okay, when you say that, it hurts my feelings.
Why?
Because what if we were poor? It would be more difficult.
If we were poor, Papa, we would be divorced because there's no way you know how to show me love.
What?
Because you throw money at my tears, and if we were poor, what would you throw at my tears?
Love.
Okay, anyways, let's move on.
What was that?
I love you. I love you,
Okay, I
Papa.
love you too.
Okay.
on March 15th, 2016, Khalyla would receive widespread scrutiny from Bobby's fans, with the clip even making it to the top of r/cringe, and labels such as Gold Digger sticking so thoroughly that random top 10 facts about ex-celebrity sites have it listed as one of the most notable things about her. After the Reddit post would gain traction, Khalyla would address it by offering $2,000 to whoever doxes the innocent Redditor.
As a matter of fact, I'll give you, any Tigerbelly listener, $2,000 of my own money if you find the IP address of this person.
And she got
Not
money.
his money,
Yeah,
my
her
money.
Her money.
After initially laughing at the idea, Bobby would say that this sounded insane, asking what she would do if she found the information.
Just from your face, I know who you're talking about.
It's getting fucking crazy.
It's getting ridiculous.
Interesting.
It is. No, it's not interesting. What are you gonna do, Raph?
Once Khalyla sees this negative response, she says she would just invite them on the podcast.
No, not
What
Raph.
happens if you find the name?
I want that person to be on our podcast.
Oh, so you want?
Okay.
Bobby responds with, "Oh, so you want blank?" hinting at some enemy in the podcasting world that they would want on. Bobby says there's only a list of about 5 people who would want to do something like this.
But it's a one of 5 names.
That's good that you narrowed it down.
Okay, and
No, I don't think that it's that. I think it was probably just a fucking Cheeto-fingered little dick fucking dude.
well, there we go.
who
There's the
doesn't,
rat.
like,
There's the
leave
anger.
house.
There's the anger.
But I mean, I think, okay,
There's the resentment.
when in the history of anything other than like Vice, has there ever been a true interview of a Cheeto-fingered troll?
Right.
Her lashing out this aggressively at someone just harmlessly laughing at an awkward moment shows a profound guilt, to which I refer you to a poem published on February 14th, 2014, under the name A Formal Apology. Their faces varied, some in subtlety, some with distinct divide, but they were all the same. I had loved them all, so cruelly, so unjustly. What I wish for now is their reprisal, to shame me in the daylight and exact a public drowning so that they may in turn scrape away the festering layers of guilt that have rendered me sleepless all these years. The thing was, they were all so beautiful, and I could not resist the dogged desire to break them. Forgive me, I don't know how to hold fragile things. They were delicate. I was deliberate. These last 2 poems paint a portrait of someone who latches on to weak and insecure men, steals from them, and takes sadistic pleasure in emotionally abusing them. I could not resist the dogged desire to break them. They were delicate. I was deliberate. Once again, confirming the second most common criticism of Khalyla, that she emotionally manipulated Bobby, as well as her previous boyfriend, into a one-sided open relationship.
But what I'm saying is, this road of love, this story that we create, doesn't have to be defined by such strict rules of monogamy.
Whoa, dude, what are you saying right now?
What I'm saying is, I would never betray your trust. I would never do anything without you seeing it in broad daylight. What I'm saying is, down this road, should you ever come up to me and say, hey, you know what, sweetie, this is what I had in mind, and this is what, whatever we need to do to spruce up our sex life.
Nope.
I will not lie.
Why are you so...
Because this is exactly the road you went down with G Unit and Steve.
No, I never. That was the first... you're going to hold me to one relationship.
No, I'm saying, I'm not holding you to it, but I'm saying that these are the seeds that are being planted for that kind of situation. And what I'm saying is that I'm not going to do that.
What I'm saying is, yes, I do. Maybe I'm projecting my own fantasies.
This is one of many examples of Khalyla grooming Bobby into what would eventually become an open relationship. Bobby makes his complete and total opposition to the idea of polyamory 100% clear in that last video.
There is a really attractive guy on Instagram hitting me up. Can he join us?
Well, I'll tell you my answer right now.
Yeah, let's hear it.
No. No, I cannot do that.
Regardless, Khalyla would wait until Bobby, someone with a severe history of drug addiction, had relapsed in order to open up the relationship.
The open relationship, you and I, we were. That's not for the we even
For
talked about
public
it. It's not for the
consumption.
public consumption, right?
Because it was delicate.
It was a delicate thing.
He was
right?
also
We were going through a
back
lot of
on
different-
drugs.
There's so many different
There's
things.
so many different elements
to it, right? It was a dark time.
It was very fragile.
Interestingly enough, Khalyla has admitted prior that she waits until the men are in a vulnerable state to introduce the third party.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is.
I was with one for about 2.5 years. I met the other person. He became a friend of the both of us. One day it turned into a, hey, let's see if, we could just have, I asked him, I was like, would you be down if he joined?
Was he in the room?
He had spent the night, he was in the shower, and we were having Sunday morning sex. And I remember just saying, I was a little manipulative in the sense that he was already inside me when I asked.
A little.
I didn't ask beforehand.
He was the crier.
As damning as all of this evidence is, I am positive that Khalyla's defenders will continue to say that the relationship was opened up mutually, citing Khalyla's claim that Bobby had cheated, when the very woman who Khalyla claims that Bobby cheated with vehemently denies it. None of us are truly positive about the nature of their relationship. We only know as much as they tell us, so all of this is speculation. That being said, we can look to people who know Bobby in real life and see what they think of this relationship. On March 26th of this year, a private message from Bobby's brother was leaked, claiming verbatim that Khalyla had brainwashed his brother, systematically keeping him away from his family, and I quote, milking my brother's gold, adding that she was cheating on him with another man in Hawaii, which was putting him through serious emotional turmoil. So much so that it landed him in the psych ward, which Bobby believed would just be a rehab center, but Khalyla would instead send him to the asylum. In response to this, on the episode of Tigerbelly in which they announced their breakup, Bobby claimed that he had no money when he met Khalyla, that his only source of income was the road, and that the podcast would revitalize his acting career.
When I met Khalyla, I had no money. I can tell you what I was making on the road. I had no other prospects of cash. The only amount of money I was making is through doing A, B room sometimes, and getting not a door deal, but getting a guarantee,
When if you go to his IMDb, Bobby maintained a consistent average of 5.6 roles per year in the 5 years following Mad TV's conclusion in 2009. And Bobby would continue to maintain an average of 5.6 roles per year in the 5 years following Tigerbelly's creation. And the quality of these roles haven't necessarily gone up either. The only stat that has actually seen an increase is a mere 5 more episodes of television appearances a year, so this claim is dubious at best, but Bobby would go even further and claim that everything positive that he had ever experienced in his entire career was a direct result of Khalyla, pretty much confirming his brother's brainwashing accusations, ironically enough.
All the things that I have in my life, right, is a direct result of meeting her and her and I building a business together. Other things have grown out of that, it rekindled my acting career. I've done well when it comes to selling things and whatnot. It's been very good, but without her, I don't know where I'd be.
Bobby giving Khalyla all of the credit for his accomplishments, as if he would have never started a podcast without her, is insane. Being a comedian, the only profession in the world where having a podcast is an industry standard, it is a guarantee that Bobby would have started a podcast during the boom with or without Khalyla. You have to wonder how much of this is damage control on Bobby's part, protecting someone he still deeply cares for from backlash that can be extremely overwhelming and painful, and how much of this is a product of Khalyla's so-called brainwashing. In her poem titled Coffee Break, initially published all the way back in June of 2008, and reposted once again in March of 2014, Khalyla would further detail her manipulative ways. Sometimes when I drink coffee, I think I can rule the world. When I think I can rule the world, I think I can rule yours. Sometimes when I drink coffee, I picture you helpless, like a puppet on a puppeteer, domineered by my hands. Sometimes when I drink coffee, I'm bold and rising, sitting atop my hill of prodigious hope, waiting to slap the fuck out of you. These sociopathic tendencies are so blatantly obvious that from the time of her very first public appearance, they would already be widely acknowledged. In early 2014, Khalyla would appear on episode 102 of the DVD ASA podcast, now known as the Pornhub podcast, where she would detail her open relationship prior to Bobby. Following this, many negative posts would appear on the DVD ASA subreddit, all with high engagement numbers and extremely positive upvote ratios. With all of this in mind, the recent breakup shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. It was even being predicted long before it was made public. And this isn't even the first time Bobby and Khalyla have broken up either. On October 10th, 2014, Bobby would go on the Sam Roberts Friday show and explain that him and Khalyla had parted ways.
You're a son of a bitch.
Because you said a minute ago it's not been a good day for you.
Yeah.
What's going on, Bobby?
She left.
She.
My girlfriend. We've been fighting a lot, and it's like, it's over now.
Why is it over? Well, first of all, what were you fighting about?
Mainly destiny.
What does that mean?
It's a video game.
Oh, I thought you meant you were. I thought you meant you were fighting over like where you're going together. Like, what's your destiny together?
We don't have destinies because we don't live in like the Lord of the Rings world.
Right. Well, that was silly of me.
I'm not going on adventures and fighting dragons and stuff.
No, you're fighting over the video game Destiny. You're not fighting dragons. You're playing a video game.
Khalyla would post about this situation 8 days later in her final entry on the website, titled Bob, 2 mics, and a touch of love. I'm not going to read this entire thing, but after starting off the poem by reminding us how insignificant our problems are in the wake of the Ebola outbreak, she would go on to compare their relationship to that of Mike Tyson and Michael Spinks. Yes, really, saying that she's felt like both of them over the course of their time together. She then goes on to complain about their sex life, saying, "Your anatomical shape and structure is not ergonomic. Basically, your overall design is conducive for prison-style sex only. Never conventional doggy style. It's really sad if you think about it. Still, we revel in the oddities of one another. I like to spit in your mouth for funsies. I delight in the reverberations of your farts that sound like someone is making popcorn for 12 theaters worth of people. We are both demented, both prone to self-injury. Some would argue that we are both catastrophic human beings. They're probably right. I think they're definitely right." She would continue to make banal comparisons between love and combat, until eventually begging Bobby to take her back. "Thank you so very much for your strange love. I'd like to keep it, if you'll let me." This latest breakup doesn't appear to be any different. Bobby has talked about wanting to move into a new, more positive stage in his life, leaving all of this behind him as he approaches old age. Yet he continues to live with Khalyla, housing her family, and even sleeping in the same bed as her.
Wait a minute, are you guys still in that same place? On the hill?
In the same hill place, and
Yeah.
she's also, we sleep on the same bed.
What?
When Andrew Schulz brought this up to him, saying that he was almost free and that he needed to move into separate homes immediately, Bobby acted as if this was the plan.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost free.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But you guys still live in the same place. Why can't you guys be best friends? Imagine you guys would be best friends and you have your own places. And she can do her thing.
That's
and
true.
you can do your thing.
She is gonna, right?
Yet when they inquired with Khalyla's niece, who said she had spoken to her about it, she didn't seem too convinced.
Is that the plan?
I think so.
You don't know.
I don't think so. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
You're part of the plan.
Are you part of the plan? Have she talked to you about it?
Maybe.
She only
You
knows
can't
6
smell a rat.
Schulz knows that Bobby needs to separate from Khalyla completely. If you watch his reaction to Khalyla's appearance on Flagrant, the disgust is palpable. Hopefully Bobby will start to listen to the guidance from his friends and fully move on. This breakup gives them the perfect opportunity to truly speak their mind without making him defensive, so there's at least a chance he'll make it out of this. Oh, and by the way, who do we have to thank for this golden opportunity? That's right, it's the GOAT.
So when like the whole Brendan Schaub thing happened, he almost like forced it out of us, even though we weren't ready to talk about it
And we
yet.
want to thank him for that. Thank you.
So I guess like in a sense, like, you know, that was a blessing in disguise because it really like forced us to like tackle head on. Because I think we would have taken much longer to deliberate.
So there you have it. Our boy, the Gringo Poppy himself, has single-handedly freed Bobby Lee from the clutches of the succubus. After revisiting their beef, I don't even think it's too far-fetched to say that Khalyla has been running some sort of hate campaign against Brendan.
Well, yeah, I can show it to you. Here's the thing. This is what's interesting. I mean, explain this however you want. When I notified you guys of the harassment and going back to Tigerbelly, that account stopped posting, took the Tigerbelly email off, and changed it. It's never posted again.
She's definitely not the mastermind behind the subreddit. That's his own stupidity, but I would not be surprised at all if she spends countless hours sitting on burner accounts talking crazy shit about everybody. Take this entry from August 4th, 2014, for example. It's titled, "Nobody Reads Yesterday's Paper." You were a mild encounter. Dull, predictable, assembled for safety and all things snooze. You were unworthy of a memory, unworthy of a story told more than once, to a stranger who inquired about the meaning of the word ennui. I would say I'm sorry, that the paleness of your every move and the flatness of your measured thoughts pained him into a deep slumber where he dreamt of a wildfire and woke up next to me. But the truth is, I've never apologized to a losing team. Put that in your calculator, you painfully basic 4.5. I mean, what vitriol towards this woman, who I assume is just Bobby Lee's previous girlfriend? This is because only 8 days prior to this, she would post the aforementioned poem where she would go into detail about how she reads everybody's mail. This next one is actually fucking psychotic, so get ready. I have an addiction to stories, especially those I can make up in my own head. So it should come as no surprise that I have unearthed all of the old love letters you've written him in this home he and I now share. I have read them all, slowly, in an eager and earnest inquisition. I'm glad that I had strategically timed all of these secret reading sessions to match my peak estrogenic days of the month. I am fully aware of my female physiological predisposition to create false wars in my mind, to breed contempt for all of those who came before me. How could he have ever shared a bed with another? That is what the minstrel would say to me. My hungry imagination naturally took me to places that resulted in the recreation of entire scripts for all of his past loves, detailed scenarios of the two of you having coffee, your movie night couch configuration, and well, even your style of giving blowjobs. So the animus from the previous poem was likely a result of one of these reading sessions. I can't believe she posted this shit publicly and actually wanted other people to go check them out at one point. This is still just the tip of the iceberg. Take this short poem, Milk, for example. Blossom, we never did, because we were never flowers, never decorative, nor safe to own. You were simply a carton of milk I thirsted for in 2 places of my body. There's so much more I could go into, but I'm honestly burnt out on this Tigerbelly content. My final take on the subject is pretty self-evident. Khalyla sucks, and Bobby needs to man up. Tigerbelly fans have a habit of infantilizing Bobby, removing all of his agency, especially when it comes to this relationship. He's obviously been victimized by Khalyla, but he's also partially responsible for letting it get this bad. You know that he's been warned about her for years, but he's continued to turn a blind eye and allows himself to still be victimized. Probably out of low self-esteem and convenience. With me not being a Tigerbelly fan, I don't really have an emotional investment into this drama. I just thought it was far too good a content not to cover. I'm probably going to be making a follow-up video, so if you enjoyed, please subscribe. There's a lot more great content on the way. Thank you for watching.